Okay, so this lecture is on the assignments for this course. Part 2 of today's lecture. Because we are about to be at the halfway point. Okay, so we know all assignments are due May 1st. Or do we know that? Okay, May 1st. All assignments are due May 1st for this course. And this is the Android course. So what are we looking at here? A long time ago I went through the syllabus. And then I went through the assignments, but I didn't actually really talk about the assignments. There's 5 programming assignments for this course. The version of the API that you use is completely up to you. I have everything, and if I don't have it, I can install it, and so can you. So what I'm doing right now is actually downloading each one of these so I can open them up locally. I'm just getting over a cold, that's why I'm coughing so much. Android phone programming assignment number 1. This is way beyond you. This is way beyond you. This is what you're way past this stage. This is so easy, you can probably do this in your sleep right now, hopefully. If you haven't done it already, and you're looking forward to doing some assignments for this course, I would start in and start doing it. My computer is a little confused right now. I'm trying to figure out why. I have a circular thing going on here. Okay. I'm going to have to kill it. Not quite sure what's going on. Start it again. I was trying to make it bigger, but it wouldn't let me. It was locked. So. Ah, more success. Okay. So let me zoom in a little bit so we can see what this one's about. You can see it. And we all know we can get it from bhacker.com, right? So, assignment number 1. You should have done this one already. You could have done this on day 1. You're opening up a new... This one is going to be a tutorial on how to create an Android project. It's Hello World. And there's a video of it out on the website already as well. In fact, most of the assignments, which is going to crash on me again, is, I think it's because I have this emulator. You know what? Let me kill this emulator. When that emulator runs, nothing runs. Kill Eclipse too. Alright. Let me kill this again and start it up again. There we go. Okay. One more time. This particular assignment is probably not worth it at this point. It's the 3rd time through. This particular assignment, I'm just going to leave it alone, is running through a Hello World program. It is creating your first Android project. It's running through all of the steps, as you can see, from anywhere from opening up Eclipse to, creating a new project type, etc. and so forth. And there's a lot of reading in the assignment. It's 15 pages long, but it's all reading. It's important reading, however, because it sets the foundation for all of the other assignments. So this assignment does not want to load, so we're just going to leave it alone. Assignment number 2. We're not going to have the same problem with assignment number 2. No, we're not. Okay. This is the reason why I kind of want to... There we go. Let's zoom in a little bit. Alright. Hello testing and hello localization. We've actually, believe it or not, covered these topics already as well. This is coming from the Android tutorial. So if I click on the link here, it's going to take me to a website. And the website is going to be the Android developer website. And on this website, you'll find some of the best tutorials and some of the best project information. And the Hello World is different. In fact, there's a Hello Views, a Hello World. There's a Notepad tutorial. You're making a little Notepad program. The one that you're going to do is both the localization and the testing. So you're going to get the It's a tutorial out here. And again, there's no excuse for not doing them because you don't really have to think. You follow a bunch of steps again. So you're going number one in Eclipse, go to Android project, test project. You know, you're creating step by step. The problem is you might end up, running into slight problems when you try to compile it from typos and things. But the concept is really not. If you know how to program in Java, you know how to create Android applications. It's the same thing. So the concept is to learn the features of the phone and the API and how to navigate. So the tutorial is not bad. This one here. It's going to give you the information involved in terms of the log that we've seen so far. In fact, in the first couple weeks, I showed you a program that wrote to the log. And for testing purposes, it wrote debug messages and stuff like that, which is what this program is actually doing. So you've actually sort of seen it already in terms of the functionality. You're also going to complete the sample Hello World program first from that website, which is a different one because that one, the testing one, Hello Testing, tests the Hello website, the Hello World version that's created by the same tutorial. So you'll have to do actually 2 Hello Worlds, one from the first assignment, one from the second. Whichever Hello World you turn in for the first assignment is fine. So what I'm saying is that you could skip assignment number 1 if you wanted to. Do this Hello World, which is the same, practically the same Hello World, slightly different. The first Hello World has a little bit of, enter your name, and then it shows Hello Barbara on the screen. It's a little bit fancier than this Hello World. However, if you want to start with assignment number 2, create this one here, the simple, and if you click on it, it takes you to the website, and it's Hello World, and it runs you through installing the platform, creating the AVD, creating all of the different parts, which is the essentials. It's a little bit longer than my assignment number 1, but you have to do it anyway. So, your choice as to which one, but the first one is the Hello World. The second assignment is this one that's got the testing in it. Also has localization. So you're going to read about localization services on this particular link. Resource switching. In terms of localization, the concept itself is sort of important in terms of the basic understanding of the resources for text and for layouts and for sounds and multimedia and stuff of that nature. But you're going to go out to the website, and once you click on the links, you're going to read through a bunch of stuff using resources for localization, yada yada, and then you're going to essentially put a project together by following the steps. There's a big strategy. So there's not a textbook for this course, but there's a lot of reading, and a lot of the reading comes from this developer site, which is really nice because it's all up to date. It's all written for the current API. And most of the textbooks out there are written for previous APIs, so it's really hard to get current stuff. You're going to complete the Hello Localization tutorial. That's going to create yet another app for you. What you're going to give me in the uploaded, you have choices. You can take the entire project directory, and let me show you what that looks like actually. It's going to be, it's going to be folder, main folder. If you create the standard install for Eclipse, you're going to have a workspace folder. Inside the workspace folder is going to be all the folders for all of the different apps that you've created. You can zip up the folder and send it to me, which is the easiest way of doing it actually. Or you can create an APK out of it. But if you do that, I'm only going to see the finished result, which doesn't really give me any kind of good feeling about what you've done. If you zip the folder, I also get the APK because it's inside of the folder. It's in the bin directory, actually, of that folder. And so I would prefer the zipping of the folder, actually, because then I get everything, not just the compiled code. So this is the localization tutorial, and in here there's a lot of cutting and pasting where you're going to cut this, put it in this piece of resource, cut that, put it in that file. So there's really no source code writing either. Instead, it's going to give you some screenshots, like know what it's supposed to look like. Put some flags in there, and You're going to pick a country, essentially. And then at the end of the assignment, it actually does tell you to zip it, single zip file. Make your assignment, export. You can actually use the export feature in Eclipse, or you can zip it up yourself. It depends. It really doesn't matter to me. Let me show you real quick, actually. If I were going to export an application out, I'm going to go back to Java. If I were going to take this Android, my map location, right mouse click on it and click on export, and then just say give it an export destination. Well, basically go through the prompts and type in the destination, the name of the file, the location, stuff like that. But you don't have to do that. You just go to the workspace directory and give me that. So that was assignment number 2. Assignment number 3. Let me get rid of some of these screens here. Is the Notepad tutorial. That one is also located on the same screen, or same website. So you're completing the Notepad tutorial, and you're going to do all 4 parts of it, including the extra credit section. And note the extra credit section does not actually count towards extra credit. It is part of the assignment. So 9 times out of 10, the Notepad here is going to be similar to any other Notepad program that you've written. It's actually kind of automated. And this is going to be if you click on the link, just make sure it works. It's going to be a step-by-step Notepad tutorial, step-by-step tutorial on preparing for the exercise, and then you're going to do exercise 1, 2, 3, and extra credit is what this is talking about. You're doing all 4 parts of the program. So you're creating a pretty sophisticated Notepad. But again, as you can see, the steps are going to walk you through it. It's going to say create this and create that. And this particular tutorial, however, doesn't walk you through as many baby steps as some of the other ones do. So the tutorials get increasingly more challenging. Not hard, but more challenging as you go through them. You do not have to do any of the other tutorials that are not in the assignment descriptions. Part 2 that is listed in here is modifying the Notepad application above to store GPS locations instead of notes. So you can view the view for the edit notes activity should now accept the label a latitude value, a longitude value, where you're going to manually set it. So you can actually, there's a method called to set the longitude and the latitude, actually, of the GPS location. But you don't actually have to do that. Instead, what you're going to do is store the information. So instead of simply providing a title and a body, it's actually providing the GPS locations. And then you're going to add a button called View Map. And I just gave you the code, actually, for that. So the code's all over the place, actually. From the main page, and the application is going to open up the new view, which displays the location of all of the labels in the list of the Google Maps. So you'll have, depending upon how many of those longitude and latitude sets that you have, you'll have a pin for each one of them on the map, essentially. And you don't have to worry about zooming in or zooming out on that as well. You can just display the map and put the locations on an overlay. Actually, you'll have to create an overlay for it, put it on the map, which is what we just covered today. So, and then same kind of concept as before, zipping it up together, sending it in. The 4th assignment actually comes out of a, this one, if you find the right book, you'll have it, because the tip calculator is pretty popular in Google Books. You're going to do 2 things. You're going to do an activity testing, and then you're going to do a tip calculator. Tip calculator, when you go to a restaurant, can't figure out, because when you have your phone with you anyway, you just press a button and say, I want 20%, does it calculate your tip for you, Nice handy application. Actually, at the same time, you can keep track of how much you spent there, too, if you wanted to. Save that, because you're typing the information in when you're calculating the tip. But the activity testing is going to be at this particular link here. And this is the one where you're going to follow through a tutorial for. And on the activity testing, you're going to be creating another tutorial that's going to run you through step by step. It's fairly easy. The tutorials are extremely easy. It's just, can you read and can you follow the steps is what you're doing. And the steps are pretty good, actually. This is a fairly popular site. A lot of people use it for teaching. So. And it's going to run through creating a test project, and the test project is going to have information for test cases that you're going to run on the. You're going to perform some automated testing on one of your apps. Is what you're going to do. So. And it basically orients you to the JUnit testing facilities. You don't really have to know anything about testing. You don't have to know anything about JUnit. You don't have to know anything about anything, the Android actually, to be able to do that particular app. The second part of it says on your own, and it is on your own. That's why I said if you can find it, there's a couple of books that actually have some templated calculators, or at this particular point, you should be able to put this together on your own, I think, without actually having to reference a book, depending upon your Java skills. So you're writing a tip calculator activity. User inputs a percentage where they wish to have a tip via a spinner item, so you'll have to figure out what that is. They type in the text field the amount that you wish to tip on, and then click on the calculate button, and the amount of the tip and the total amount tip plus the amount are displayed. So, make up your own percentages, 15%, 10%, whatever you want to do. It's fairly straightforward. However, this, although it sounds like a simple kind of thing, does kind of get you to venture out past the tutorial level and get you to write like something from scratch that you've invented yourself, which is nice. So you're going to want to do that one. And each one of the assignments, although there's only 5 of them, there's multiple parts to them. So. Fifth assignment, the restaurant application. And as I was mentioning before, they do get progressively hard. So the 4th assignment is the first time you actually have to write something on your own, that tip calculator. The 5th one, now you're looking at a project that's a little bit more, this is like the capstone project of the course. So for this project, you'll be creating a restaurant application. An application start screen should show a list of restaurants currently in the database. If you wanted to, you could actually add a map to that. Because now you know about mapping. You could put a little map in there, so you click on the restaurant, it shows you where it is on the map. Or maybe calculate from your present position, location. Using a location manager, you can figure out where you're located. And how far away the restaurant is from where you are right now. So, which is what a lot of these apps actually do. You don't have to, those are optional features. You can make this as sophisticated as you want. So the application start screen should show a list of the restaurants currently in the database. The list needs to scroll. If it doesn't fit on the one screen, it should scroll to another. Allows you to use the database, as we saw last 2 weeks ago. I believe I had a database. Yes, I did. I had a file and I had a database SQL Lite example that I showed you. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. The list needs to scroll, so it doesn't fit on the screen. If blah blah blah. So when the user selects the restaurant, a second activity, restaurant detail view, is called. So you're going to use a list view, perhaps, maybe. You're going to have the user click on the restaurant, and then you're going to have a detailed view of the restaurant information. Information includes restaurant name, address, phone number, and the application start screen also has a menu item, let's say, on there that allows users to add new restaurants to it. So, actually, if you're here for the iPhone class and you saw the bug thing, it's just like the bug interface. Just, in fact, very similar, in fact, in terms of what it's accomplishing. Part 2, in the restaurant app, you're going to add a button for the restaurant detail view that clicks and opens up a map view. There we go, showing the location of the restaurant and the location of the user. So you can see your restaurant on the map. So you'll need to use the location services and maps to implement this feature. So in this assignment, you're going to need to sign up for the Android Maps API key, which we've just went over today. So So see this link right here for information. Let's just make sure the link works still. Otherwise, you can see also the links that obtaining a key. There we go. So it does work. Or you can also see the links that I gave you today in today's lecture as well. Part 3. Oh no, there's more parts to this. All builds on the same app. Create a restaurant widget, which displays one restaurant. In your restaurant application, restaurant detailed view, add a display button. When the user clicks the button, a broadcast is sent to all running restaurant widgets on the phone to update themselves to display that information. We haven't talked about widgets yet. We're getting there. Class isn't over yet. So, not today, but we're going to get there by the end of the term. So, and then the usual turning in instructions. So that is the 5th assignment for this course. Up until maybe the second half of the 5th one, believe it or not, I've actually covered all of the information so far for every single one of those apps. So they're not hard. So I'm hoping that you guys are going to end up doing them and turning them in. And they are worth 50% of your course grade. I'm bringing this up again so I can remind you of that. We don't have a midterm for this class, but we do have this thing called a CSLO essay. And within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to actually be putting that together for you. And it'll be a writing assignment. It won't be an Android. But I might actually pick a couple features from the Android phone and have you do some research on them and explain how they work or something. Which I'm thinking, I have a couple of ideas. So it might be a short answer kind of thing. It might be one or two, pick from these topics kind of thing. But it'll hopefully be interesting. It'll allow you to research a little bit. And so we are essentially about halfway through the course at this point, which is why I'm bringing this stuff up. This is the first time I think I've gone through the assignments with you. So, questions about the assignments or about the CSLO? And obviously the final exam's not until the last week in April. So we have March and April. We have 2 months left. So we have January and February are pretty much over with. We have March and April. So this is the halfway. We're approaching the halfway mark in the course. So you don't want to wait until the last week to start doing these 5 assignments because they're a little time consuming. And they're 50% of your grade. But if you start on them now, you can actually finish them all in a reasonable amount of time. So, and they're not a bad learning experience. In fact, they're supposed to be extremely easy. I mean, except for the last one. The restaurant one is probably the more challenging one, but it's the last one. So, questions, comments, or concerns? All right, well then that's enough for today, I think. So, I will post the map, API map instructions along with the video. And I think what I'll do is I'll zip up and I'll post that sample map application as well. So you can play around with the mapping, although you'll have to change the key on it. The key's not going to work with what you have. All right, so if we don't have any questions, we're done for today. And I will see you next week for more Android